Well, I made that first video. I think it turned out okay. Continuation. Just doing a little quick errand. A little shopping before we... It's been a long day. It's actually on a Saturday. Been working at the old house, gathering, trying to clean it out. So eventually we're going to sell it. But there's a lot to do. And that's one of the reasons why I just go ahead and decide to retire. So I have some time to do that. And I mentioned I'm DoorDashing, but I don't do DoorDashing all day or every day. That's the beauty of it with the gig environments or gig economy, where there's DoorDash, Uber Eats, stuff like that, and you can pick your schedule. I found that if I can do breakfast and lunch DoorDashing Monday through Thursday, gives me Friday and the weekend to do the stuff I need to do. Or if I have to, recently I had to adjust, I had to do some things on a Monday, so then I work on Tuesday through Friday, which I did this past week. To learn, DoorDashing is somewhat easy, but I've taken it and like anything I'm doing, focusing on going to try to do it as a business, not just that's a job, just to make extra money. But I'm actually I've been doing it for about 6 weeks now. Just concentrate, making improvements and how to do it. I've watched a lot of YouTube, like anything, I watch a lot of YouTube videos about how people do it. There's all kinds of different walks of life of people doing DoorDashing or any type of this, Uber and Lyft and stuff like that. I myself have encountered several DoorDashers from all walks of life. Surprisingly, quite a few elderly people. In fact, I met this elderly lady. She's probably slightly older than me, but she says both her and her husband do DoorDashing. And I've met a gentleman who could be the husband, but he was also DoorDashing. But I met quite a few younger folks who DoorDash, and in fact, I've met a lady. She's younger than me, probably I based from probably in their mid 30s and 40s or something like that. I'm 60, so anybody who's young. Her story is that she's a grandchild. Her grandfather. She's the only one in her family that's taking care of her grandfather, and he has dementia. That's tough. And she's DoorDash. She does DoorDashes all day as much as possible. But she does DoorDash, so she has the flexibility because she has to be with him at certain times of the day or certain hours. She's been doing it for a while. For example, I've only been doing it about 6 weeks, and my lifetime deliveries is just over 300. She's got over 1,300. So, in fact, all those elderly people I met that were all DoorDasher, they've been doing it for 2-3 years. And then I've also met a younger guy. It's probably in his late 30s. He just started just like me, and he's kind of somewhat in the same boat as me. He lost his job, and he just needed to do something, to help, make ends meet here. Other side benefit for me also, like I told you, I spent over now close to a year looking for another job, and I was on the computer all day submitting applications. I've submitted at least over 400 applications, through either LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, Indeed, all this, especially a lot of the sites, especially with LinkedIn, it actually tells you how many people that applied for the job, and every one of them that I applied to, it maxes out at 100 applications. Every one of them that I applied to max out at 100, which means that at least there had to be more than 100 people submitting applications. That just shows you the job market. when I was growing up, I graduated high school in '82. I originally wanted to be an architect. I did 3 years of drafting and took 1 year of engineering. But in high school, a little thing called personal computer came out. The first thing that came out was a Trash 80, TRS-80. And then eventually the Apple II came out in colleges. And so actually in high school we had a Commodore PET. And we learned, and then we had a TRS-80 in one high school classroom. And that's where we learned basic. And I said, man, I've always was good with hands, building things. I love building, I love Legos. I still do love Legos. But just doing everything, I love to build things. But here I can actually create things by just programming. So I took to it and went through college and all that, because back then, software engineering programmers, that's the, you can make good money. Which eventually I did after a while. And then, well, I thought I was going to retire, but then, H-1B visa, contractors and stuff like that, and then AI. So, old dinosaurs like me are going out, and there are a few jobs. I was mainly a COBOL programmer, but a lot of the programs, but a lot of us dinosaurs were laid off, and so it's even tough trying to find mainframe programming jobs, because there was so many people available. So it's tough. But hindsight's 2020. Could have been pick a different career, but beggars can't be choosers. You have to live with what your choices are. But I will tell you this, for any young person who watches this and all that, you've probably seen the gentleman, Mike, I think his name's Mike Rowe, the Dirty Jobs guy. You've seen him all the times, and he advocates, and recently he said, AI is never going to replace people who do the service jobs like plumbers, electricians, that type of thing. In fact, my youngest nephew went to school to be an electrician, and he works now, making pretty good money. He got his own truck. The company he works for gave him his truck, and he's got his own crew. And the kid's, not even 30. I don't think he's even, God, I think he's about 25 now, but he's doing good, and his future is bright. Doing the service job. Construction, electrician, plumbing. People always need plumbers. That type of thing. That service work, mechanics. Oh my God, diesel mechanics. We have a huge trucking industry. Even though the trucking industry for a minute has its ups and downs, but people, they need to be worked on. Maintenance, car maintenance. Also. So that type of thing. So anyway, back home right now from the errand, so I need to cut off right now and then put up the groceries, and eventually Monday I'm going to start doing DoorDashing, and we'll start recording how that goes. So we'll see you then. Thanks. Bye.